For as long as I can really remember, everyone's been saying to me, and everywhere you read, 10,000 steps is the minimum in regards to activity that you need to complete in order to really defend yourself and lower your risk and all sorts of diseases.
Well, I mean, see, there are multiple ways to look at it. The first thing is that quantification of anything makes it simpler for people. If you tell someone that, hey, you know what, you need to walk, say, 5 miles a day, suddenly 5 miles becomes a very big number because you can't quantify it, right? I mean, you can't be walking with a measuring tape, and not everyone has a running track around their house that they can go down and count count whatever they can. So then, pedometers nowadays with wearable devices have become so easily available. Like at 50-60 dirhams also you can have a pedometer. Your phones have pedometers which can measure the number of steps you walk. The moment you put in the pedometer's activation, 10,000 steps becomes like an achievable goal, because wherever you're walking, whatever you're doing, you would invariably do about 3,500-4,000 steps a day. Peg it up, make it a 10,000 step a day kind of a structure, and you're talking about walking about 5 miles a day, which eventually compounds into anywhere between 2,000 to 3,500 calories, which is about 1 pound a week of fat loss if you do it actively.
How many steps have you done today?
Today, let me check.
While you check, we'll let you know our next guest is Dr. Shereef Elbardisy, the Consultant Cardiologist at the International Modern Hospital in Dubai. Dr. Shereef, thank you for joining us on Talk 100.3.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
Look, it is an interesting one. We've always been told 10,000 steps is what you need to do, but the new study says it's now not just the number of steps, but also the pace at which you walk that helps enhance the results. Does this mean we should be running instead of walking?
That's really very interesting and very important, because we get kind of questions almost every day from our patients when we advise them, hey, you need to walk, you need to start walking, you need to exercise. Then most of the people, and many people, especially those who have daily work, they said, doctor, you don't know, I really walk a lot in work, I walk at home. But this is not the kind of walking that we are talking about. It is different kind of walking. So to simplify it, I just tell the patients, and I'm telling all the audience, when a doctor asks you to walk, or you want to do an exercise, a walking exercise, it is essentially to be continuous walking. It's not like you go from one office to one office, then you do something here, and then you change your pace of walking, and then you go, and then you start walking again. This is not going to help. In fact, sometimes it's harmful. But continuous walking with a certain pace that you can increase later on, this is what we are talking about. So it is not simple walking. So it's very interesting to know these information, really.
So when you go back to the study that's come about, this is as a result of both the University of Sydney and also the University of Southern Denmark. Every 2,000 steps lowers the risk of premature death by 8 to 11%. With 10,000 steps a day, and a higher number of steps per day was associated with a lower risk of all cause of dementia. Is it as simple as saying use it or lose it?
Well, I would see this study it is like an observational study. If you look at the data in this study, it's an observational study. Now we cannot neither confirm or deny what's in the study, but most definitely it decreases the risk of dementia. But we cannot link it with a certain number of steps, that if you do this number of steps, you're going to get less dementia or what. We can simply just say that the more intense exercise or walking distance you can achieve, whatever it is, especially like increasing your goals by time. This will definitely help you reduce dementia, improve your heart function, improve your cardiovascular system. So in many ways, I can't link it with the numbers, but the study is referring to an observation that they have done in a certain number of patients, and they put these goals for the numbers of steps that you need to do at least to achieve this result.
Well, I mean, Doctor, while we mention and put up this target of, say, 10,000 steps a day as a basic, go-to number to make it to make lifestyle active for people, I've known of a few people who, even in their daily work life or within their home or whatever, are not even clocking 2,000 steps. these are overweight, obese people. Now, how does that,
Yeah.
how do you tackle them? Like, I know someone who is about 125, 127 kgs. Okay. And while talking to that person, I got to know that he walks only 1,500 to 1,800 steps because I put a pedometer onto his hand. How do you change that
Well,
for him?
First of all, you have to set an achievable goal for these patients.
Right.
You cannot go to these patients and tell them, hey, you need to walk for 5 miles.
Right.
Just as you said a while ago, you have to put an achievable goal and then start working on that goal by increasing it, whether distance or intensity or speed, pace, by time, so that and the more you increase, he will see the results. And this is how we tackle them. This is how we talk to them. Like if he's walking just 1,000 steps, I told him, why don't you, instead of counting your steps, why don't you just walk for 15 minutes 5 days a week?
Right.
It is very less. It might not be a very big number of steps, but
True.
This is for a week or two. Then we can increase that up to, for example, 20, 30 minutes. And as long as he is able to do it, we keep increasing it, and he will be more motivated to do it because he starts seeing results with that.
Makes sense.
Put an achievable goal, and then people will follow.
A lot of obese people and people who are on the higher side of the weighing scale, the biggest concern obviously is with the cardiological issues. Now, walking is definitely one of the best exercises, but then one of the concerns that that comes to everyone's mind is this thing called cholesterol. Can cholesterol be controlled by certain set of exercises, or walking, if not exercises, just by walking 10,000 steps or more?
Thank you very much for bringing this up. Really, now this is a very good information that you have just mentioned. Now, exercise. We all know that exercise or walking simply, or even running, or any kind of exercise is good for the heart. But how it is good for the heart? It is not only just because making the heart healthy by making it pump fast and so forth, but the exercise itself releases so many chemicals inside the body that helps you reduce your total cholesterol. And the cholesterol has so many components. One of them is called the LDL cholesterol, or the low density lipoprotein, which is the bad guy, because there is a different type.
The
of
HDL and
cholesterol,
LDL, right?
HDL. Yeah. This is the good guy. So this bad guy goes and clogs the vessels and closes the vessel. Now, doing exercise is one of the of course, plus diet. Diet is the main thing. But exercise helps you reduce very much this kind of cholesterol. So even if you are not reducing your weight with the walking that you're doing, you are still reducing your LDL. Maybe some people are just not seeing very fast results in terms of weight reduction, but there will be definite reduction in the cholesterol, which will be translated later on in better heart function, and they will be protected from future events, cardiac events or heart attacks and so forth. So that's a very good point.
So, doctor, the age-old question is: are eggs good or bad for your cholesterol?
Well, eggs, it's good and bad, both of them actually. The egg yolk itself, which is the yellow matter, it has a lot high cholesterol, but many of that cholesterol is a good one, but there is still a portion that is bad. So egg is good, and we can't tell, but definitely patients who have high cholesterol, we tell them, please, if you eat, for example, 3 eggs, please remove it, just eat the whites, and from the 3 eggs, eat the whites all, but eat only one
yolk.
That's all.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then again, is cholesterol only linked with people who are on the higher side of the scale, as in obese people, or can cholesterol, as in LDL specifically, come through and knock the doors of someone who is fit, someone who is right in the weighing range, the weight range?
Great. Now let's take the first point first. Now, people who are in the high range or high end range of the weight scale, they definitely have what we call low metabolism. Low metabolism means they don't burn what they eat. So if they don't burn what they eat, this amount that they are eating, it's not burned because they are not working, they are not active. It transforms inside our body to a cholesterol, and lipids, which becomes deposited in certain areas of the body, making people obese, and for example, in the belly, and deposited in the arteries, clogging them and causing hypertension, heart attacks. So this is in the high end, people who are high weight. But in the same time, it's not very rare to see people who are lean thin, and yet they still have a high cholesterol. And the reason behind that is because of the liver. Now, our liver, is the main organ that deals with the cholesterol that we eat, that we take in our food, and it breaks this cholesterol and it prevents it from being high in the body. Some people genetically will have their livers not able to deal with this amount of cholesterol. So the tiniest or the smallest amount of lipid they eat or ingest or utilize every day, sometimes it causes marked elevation of the cholesterol. And so it happens in both ends. But definitely, with the people who are obese or having high weight, definitely they are more prone to have high cholesterol. Like if you get 10 people who are fat and 10 people who are slim, at least 90% or 80% of those in the higher weight scale will have high cholesterol, but maybe one or two in the other hand will have.
Makes sense. No, this is fantastic, and to finally address the elephant in the house, or rather, I shouldn't be saying that. That would be probably weight shaming. But then, if one has to stay fit, the age-old concept of eat right, work out. But in today's time and age, where we are literally, running from pillar to post, doing our work, going home tired, what can one do at the most basic to stay fit?
And now, in terms of exercise, if you're asking me, there is always time to walk 20 to 30 minutes a day, at least 5 days a week, or even 4 days of the week, which is most days of the week. 20, 30 minutes. This can be achieved if it becomes a habit, then it will be it will be very regular in your life that you will do it every day, even if you are busy with the work schedules and busy with the life and everything. Just 20, 30 minutes. We are not asking for a lot of exercise or daily exercise, or going to gyms or running. Just 20, 30 minutes is enough to give you a healthy heart as long as you live.
Well, it's been great to get an insight to you. I think that it's always a great reminder to get out and walk, but also get out and walk with pace. Use your arms. Get the sweatbands going and get active.
Yes.
Dr. Shereef Elbardisy, the Consultant Cardiologist at the International Modern Hospital in Dubai. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon on Talk 100.3.
Sure, most welcome. But before I wrap up, I just want to finish with a small story of myself. It's myself. Actually, I'm a physician for the past 25 years, and I never, until 5-6 years ago, I never did any kind of exercise, and my weight has gone up to 130 kgs.
Oh, wow.
Now, by the way, now I am 98 only. Okay. The only thing that I kept telling myself, I'm very busy. I have surgeries and I have a lot of things to do. I have family to look after, and I'm working day and night. And I kept telling this to myself, and I was not doing an exercise until a certain point where my cholesterol started to be high, and actually even my physical activity has decreased. So I started by walking, and I kept the pace of walking, normal pace of walking, 30, 40 minutes only, and I did that 4 or 5 days a week for a few months. Then I was able to do it more and more. Nowadays I run 5 kilometers every day.
Wow.
Or 5 days a week. And this was very helpful to me, not only in weight reduction, but in terms of health and how I feel myself. I feel myself younger. So this tells you, whatever you're busy, if you're able to put a goal that you achieve and go slowly for it, it's going to help you. I work 8-10 hours a day. 8-10 hours a day. Still, right. I find
18,
time to
did you
do
say
that.
18? 1-8? Did you say 8 hours a day?
No.
8. Okay, I'm just making sure, doctor. Yes.
Yeah, I know. 18 is too much.
Yes.
Okay.
But you're quite right. As a doctor, you are an advertisement for health, like personal trainers, like a lot of people are, and I think you're also really a positive influence and an inspiration that if you can get your weight down 30 kilograms, anyone can do it. So it's a credit to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and I hope everyone can do the same.
Yeah, wonderful. Dr. Shereef Elbardisy, the consultant cardiologist from the International Modern Hospital in Dubai, joining us here on Talk 100.3. Yeah, and we heard it there. Eggs can still be good for you.
Well, they're good for you.
But the 10,000 steps a day, you need to do it, but also with purpose.
Well, I mean, just start. Don't give excuses, because excuses will never find an end to themselves, and you will never be able to get onto the other side with excuses. Just start one day at a time, 15 minutes at a time, and slowly, steadily keep increasing, going up. Keep the 10,000 number in mind. But if you're unable to do that to start with, it's okay. Like we were talking, and even the doctor mentioned that. Start with 10 minutes of walk, 15 minutes of walk, and then slowly, steadily, the human body itself adapts to this and makes it simpler for you. So then you can, as we say, progressively overload on your body so that you can do more and more while the body is ready.